What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today we have an insanely fun Warlock build for you to break down. This thing takes advantage of brand new perks, insane synergy, as well as an exotic you probably have not used in a very long time. And of course, I do apologize. I'm still getting over the flu, so if the audio sounds a little bit funky, I do apologize, bear with me. But without further ado, let's get into this build breakdown, talking about the synergy of it all from our artifact mods, our armor mods, as well as the set bonuses that we're going to be taking advantage of. But to start this off, we got to highlight the featured exotic, the Chromatic Fire. This states, final blows from kinetic weapons create an explosion in the element of your equipped super, meaning you can use whatever super you want to use. You can use whatever subclass you want to use. This is not set with specifically using solar or prismatic or void. You can use anything you want. Elemental final blows temporarily grant a stacking increase to the size of the explosion, and precision final blows will always have a maximum size. Now, which kinetic weapon should we be focusing on? I'm glad you asked. Because of the brand new ever-burning glitz, we decided to take full advantage of the new perks that it comes with. And I know this is a Trials of Osiris weapon. You do not need necessarily to use this specific weapon or this specific role. This just, I want to highlight it. It synergizes beautifully with the artifact mods as well as our exotic. It has the brand new perks on it, Bewildering Burst. So after reloading, when you defeat a target, it causes the next hit to launch a kinetic projectile that detonates into a longer lasting disorienting blast, basically blinding your enemies. Then it also has Ancillary Ordnance, so rapid elemental final blows and final blows on targets afflicted by an elemental debuff periodically prepare micro homing missiles, which is launched to your target from the next weapon's final blow. More missiles can be prepared, so you can actually stack this up to 5 times, and I'll show you the gameplay of what that actually looks like. But both of those synergize beautifully with the kinetic just synergy that we're getting from Chromatic Fire. Elemental wise, you can use whatever you want to in terms of special weapon, or if you want to run double primaries, it doesn't really matter. But we are running the Unfall sidearm for one specific reason, because it comes with Disruption Break. Breaking a combatant shield with this weapon makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a short time. Now, we also are going to be using Microcosm, another kinetic heavy weapon. This exotic fires a beam of kinetic light, dealing massive bonus damage to shields, and it also comes with the trait where final blows grant super energy, and this weapon gains bonus damage once your super expires. So not only is ever-burning glitz, but Microcosm as well is also going to benefit from the use of Chromatic Fire. A couple other things that really help this build stand out before we get into the subclass is in the artifact mod. Energy acceleration, sustained damage with micro missiles cause shockwave, like kinetic shockwaves that damage nearby combatants. This is the micro missile from our auto rifle, but also the micro missile from our sidearm. It's one of the must-haves with this build. The rest of it, you can really focus on whatever you want to. It's utterly insane how much kinetic explosion you can actually create with this build. If you don't have this specific auto rifle, don't worry about it. Toss on, Giver's Blessing from the Caldera events, whatever you guys want to call that nobody wants to go to anymore. But if you want to go to Kepler and get yourself a Giver's Blessing with Kinetic Tremors, it is a nice option as well. The Ever-Burning Glitz also does roll with Kinetic Tremors, so you can use that perk as well. But these new perks are a ton of fun, and I highly recommend checking them out. Now, to break down the specific subclass I'm going to be using is we are on a Prismatic Warlock solely because of the kinetic synergy it has with it. Your melees, your grenades, they really don't matter specifically with this build. You can use whatever you'd like to. I'm opting to go with Arcane Needle, as well as Cold Snap for the grenade, and then Song of Flame for my super. Now, for the aspects, I do want to be using Lightning Surge because, one, it gives you 3 fragment slots, and it's a ton of fun. Then Feed the Void, so we just get Devour on ability kills, giving us health restoration and grenade energy. Now, for the fragments that really help this build shine and synergize beautifully with our loadout and our exotic, first up is Facet of Balance. Facet of Balance states rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy, and rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy, just synergizing back into our aspects. Then we've got Facet of Courage, so our arc and solar and void abilities will deal increased damage to targets afflicted by a darkness debuff, meaning our Song of Flame, once we sever them, will deal more damage. Now, Facet of Grace is a must-have for this build. Defeating targets with kinetic weapons grants you bonus Transcendence energy, and defeating targets with your super grants you and allies bonus Transcendence energy. Then there also is Facet of Protection, so when you're surrounded, we get damage reduction, and then of course Facet of Dawn to get Radiant off powered melee hits, giving us an increase of 20% to our weapon damage. Now for the armor mods. First up on our helmet, we are running 2 Kinetic Siphon mods to just increase the amount of Orbs of Power we create from our kinetic weapons, then hands-on so we gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Now for the gauntlets, we're going with 2 heavy-handed so we create more Orbs of Power and have a lower cooldown from using our powered melee to create those orbs, then an impact induction, so causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces our grenade cooldown. Chest piece, of course, we're going resistance mods that match the activity that we're doing. Then for the legs, we are going with a Better Already to get health regen on an orb pickup, Kinetic Surge to increase the damage of our auto rifle as well as our microcosm, then Absolution to reduce all ability cooldowns every time we pick up that orb of power. Lastly, for the bond, of course, we're going with the classic Reaper and Powerful Attraction. So every time we use our Rift, it's going to pick up an orb within 12 meters, and then our next weapon, Final Blow, will create that other orb of power. And Outreach, just so it reduces our melee cooldown when we use our class ability. We are going to be taking advantage of an entire armor set, which I don't normally do, but this one is just perfect for this build. And that is going to be the Tech Sec armor. You can easily get this from solo ops. I ran and got a full set in about 30 minutes, so it's really not too difficult to farm. The first trait says you deal significantly increased kinetic damage to combatant shields, overshields, vehicles, and constructs. And if you have the 4-piece set on, defeating powerful combatants or breaking a combatant shield with kinetic damage releases disorienting shockwaves. That just is going to synergize beautifully with our exotic as well as our auto rifle, plus Chromatic Fire as well. And remember, Chromatic Fire's elemental explosion is based off your super, so let me go show you what that's going to look like as well as what these new perks actually do. So here we are in the shooting range. So first up, let's just get a kill. We have that solar explosion, which can scorch targets, by the way, if they're close enough. And then that will give us Bewildering Blast first when we reload. So when we get that kill, that guy pops up in the air and just can disorient targets around it. But the fun part is going to be the micro missile. We're going to go ahead and just load a bunch of micro missiles up really quickly. And all we have to do is just get our elemental blows right there, our final blows. And you can see with pretty much every single rocket that we're shooting, we're also proccing the artifact perk with that kinetic shockwave. Now you see on the bottom, we have ancillary ordnance times 4, meaning we have 4 micro homing missiles in our mag right now. And basically what this is going to look like once it procs is it shoots that little missile and it goes and kills bad guys. It doesn't proc on every single one, but that missile can also proc that kinetic shockwave, which just makes this really, really good for ad clear. And honestly, it's one of the most fun non-meta builds that I've had and played with in quite a while. So let's go take this into some -40 content and see how well it does. Okay, apparently I'm doing K1 logistics. Did not even realize I loaded into this one. So let's go ahead and make ourselves Radiant really quickly so we can take care of this guy. I should just kill him with this. Okay, perfect. Dude, starting with like no ammo. All right, let's go get some micro missiles real quick. Yeah. Dude, these Banes can just leave me alone. Come on. So this is definitely a very off-meta build, but it is a lot of fun, and I haven't used Chromatic Fire in a very, very long time. So it's kind of a nice little change. Mix things up, not use the meta all of the time, and just have some fun with it. Sir. There's a little missile. It has nowhere to go. Isn't there heavy ammo over here? Oh, I'm so dumb. It's right here, folks. There we go. We got full heavy ammo, so now we can go take care of every single barrier. Okay, go ahead and load some little rockets there real quick. Actually, didn't even load any right there. Okay, let's go Radiant. There's that Kinetic Shockwave from the armor set. Ooh, that's scary. I'll just go Prismatic, make my life easy. Sir, I've been playing with Sturm and Drang or Sturm and Unfall for so long that it's just not using a super busted build feels so weird. Like, what is happening? But we got our kinetic boost from our armor charges, meaning we're doing more damage from that. Able to get that to proc the little or the armor mods just from that guy. Oh, there's a Brig. I guess I'll do this just to take care of him. We don't even need to use our weapons in this, even though we are permanently radiant in our Song of Flame. Dude, these Brigs do more damage than I do in heavy metal. What's going on? Okay. That guy's cooked. Alright, we need to get more kills with the sidearm. We need to going into this next room, I want to get as many micro missiles as I can. But I think I just killed every single guy by, yep, I despawned all of those people. So, don't do that. But we have one rocket loaded up. I really am excited to see what other weapons they put these perks on. Whether it's going to be, it's on a hand cannon, that could be a lot of fun. Think about putting it on a rocket sidearm, also would be a ton of fun. But at the end of the day, like 720s are one of my favorite archetypes to actually use. And if you don't have this specific role and you have one with kinetic tremors or you have a Giver's Blessing with kinetic tremors, it's also going to be a lot of fun. That was my original thing I was going to make with this build until this auto rifle came out. So I can't really complain that I spent hours and hours and hours grinding it in trials last night so I could make this build for you guys. So we have a couple rockets loaded up. Let's get that kill real quick. Get that rocket off. Kill that guy. Another one you could also use is Kvastov would go extremely hard with this. Solely because the ricochet rounds that it has. And then you could use any other heavy weapon. Okay, we're going to get a lot of these guys. Sir. Okay, let's see how many rockets we have. We have 3. That's not bad. Let's see if we can get 5. Come on. Oh my god, I can't shoot. The fact that that procs its kinetic damage all the time is crazy. Alright, we have 4. We'll call it good there. So we don't have our super, but we are really close. We'll just pop Prismatic for survivability's sake going into this. Plus we can weaken the boss real quick. Or just sever him because we missed. There we go. Now we can use our super. Let's get a kinetic wave off. So we still have 4 rockets. That'll proc one right there. Killed him from our Scorch, which was really nice because of Chromatic Fire. Alright, we're going to have to go Radiant here in a second. And I just missed. Wild. Dude, that was so bad. Do as I say, not as I do. Because now we can't kill the barrier because we did not plan accordingly. That was just completely user error on my part. We'll just go ahead and get, nope, okay. I was going to try to get him with some kinetic damage so I can get my Transcendent up again. I'll just do it on this. Come on, Vandal. Look at those little rockets got nowhere to go, man. There we go. Okay, now we can go take care of him. Come on, there you go, proc your shield again. Dude, every time I pick up these relics, I feel like I miss. I'll just use a microcosm for this guy. It would do so much better, even with the boost that we have. I feel like we're not doing the most damage, but at the end of the day, we're using microcosm because it does synergize really well. It's not a necessary thing in this one by any means. We'll save a little bit for after our next super. Kill some ads. Little rocket procs. Dude, the kinetic damage is just so much fun. I'm gonna kill some bad guys over here. Okay, we'll just use this hand rocket sidearm. Get him weak. I feel like there's more ads that are constantly spawning than there normally is. Okay, oh, I can't pick that up because I'm in my super. Good job. Okay, there, we actually hit it. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, there's way more ads than I'm used to. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. Okay. Kill these guys real quick. Let's get a disorienting blow. Oh, that did not matter. Dude, the ad clear potential though is so much fun. There are so many guys spawning. I've never seen this in K1 Logistics. What was that? Okay, so obviously this build isn't broken. It's super meta like a lot of builds out there, or of course it's not busted like the bug Sturm and Dragon build right now. But it is a ton of fun. It's something you can use in leveling content where you're not needing to go super under level to actually have good rewards out of it. Or if you just want to have fun and enjoy a build that just goes kabloom, this is a lot of fun. It has insane kinetic energy. And at the end of the day, not every build has to be meta. Sometimes they can just be fun. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and a comment down below. And of course, subscribe if you guys are new. But as always, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.